Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me and welcome back to my channel today. If I've not met you before, I'm Katie. It's great to have you with me, and if you're a returning subscriber, thanks for joining me once again. Today I thought we could talk about some fairly obscure things that you can do at Disneyland Paris. So without further ado, let's get started. So, as you may know by now, I have been to the Disneyland Paris park a few times in the last couple of years, and there are a few things that I've discovered over my last few times in particular which I didn't necessarily know about before, and some things that you wouldn't know about unless you'd been to the parks and Disney Village. So I thought we could start with those. So let's imagine as you are going into the park to start with. There are a number of shops around in Disney Village. There is a new like bistro place that's opened up, and a new patisserie place which has the most incredible looking macarons, which are massive. As you know, I do like my macarons, and it's kind of opposite the Pandora shop, but if you are staying at any of the hotels and are walking in, you will absolutely walk through Disney Village in one particular way, and these two shops are on the right hand side. If you carry along through Disney Park or Disney Village, as you continue and as you get to the point where you can see the cinema and you've got Annette's Diner behind you, there is a really random art place, but it's one that I was really interested in because it's a tiny little place. There's only really room for about 4 or 5 people in there at any one time, and what they sell is eye art. So it's quite cool because what you can do is you can go and you can look at your eye. You hold it up to this, well, presumably it's a mirror, and it shows you your eye in bright light, and then you can choose to get prints, but you can just go and try it and see what your eyes look like. So this is actually something that I've been interested in for quite a long time, and actually during one of my trips to Disneyland Paris I did actually do this. So this is my eye in close up. I can't honestly remember if it's my left or my right eye, but there it is. So I got this printed. It came in quite a nice frame. There's different sizes available, but this one was about €50 for this size. So it's really quite cool because you get all the different like mottling effects and all the different colours depending on your eye and your eye patterns. So I thought that was really cool. Definitely a bit more of a unique souvenir. Definitely not one that would be on my list prior to ever having been to the parks and seen it for myself. So that is number one, is the eye arts place in Disney Village. If you continue through the village and let's say you go into the Hollywood Studios style park, which is actually called the Walt Disney Park, you go in through the main square and you go through the only bit that you can go through, which is kind of the aircraft hangar, and as you come out, if you head towards the right, you're actually opposite the building where they do the Frozen show. And if you walk to the side of it as if you're going to Crush's coaster and the Aladdin carpets, inside the building there is the Disneyland Paris animation studio, and this is something where you can go along, you queue, it's first come first serve, and you can actually learn to draw a Disney character, which is really fun. So we got to draw Stitch, we did Mushu, and we did the star from Wish. We didn't all do them in one sitting, but you do one character per half hour, and it's really well done. You basically get given, everyone has their own individual light block, and it's in like a Mickey Mouse's pants and legs. I'm British, so I should really say shorts, but you know what I mean. So they're actually kind of, you sit there at the desk and then you get to draw, and you're guided through at every stage by an animation artist, which is really fun. It's also inside, which is a nice attraction to do as well. So that's number 2, is the animation studio. If we come out of that park now and go into the main Disneyland Paris park, which is kind of the Magic Kingdom essentially park. I think it is just called the Walt Disney Park Paris Park, something like that. Then there are a few things in there as well that you might want to have a look at. One of them is if you were to go to the castle, and instead of walking through the middle of the castle, you head round to the left of it, there is something inside called Tany Dragon. Now, if you miss this turning and you actually end up in the middle of the castle, that's absolutely fine too, because you can see the amazing stained glass that they have in that castle. It's all absolutely beautiful. You can go upstairs, you can see it firsthand, and you can also see tapestries as well. That is amazing. So I highly, highly recommend that. So that in itself is something, not that I was trying to direct you to, but that you should also go and see. Having seen all those beautiful stained glass mosaics and the embroidery, you should then go back downstairs and into the glass shop, which is one of my favourite places at the Disneyland Paris parks in terms of shops. I absolutely love it in there. It's where I got my wand, it's where I got my Christmas ornament of the Frozen star. It's beautiful in there. It's always busy, so just be careful and just expect that you're going to have to wait and try and figure out where the queues are and stuff. But if you head from the inside of the castle into there, and then there's another entrance which takes you out towards the back of the castle, and there's a door there that also takes you to Tany Dragon, or a kind of corridor. And if you're going that way, you walk down the steps, and then the dragon is right in front of you, and he is so worth a visit. He is one of my favourite things to see there. He is the largest Disney animatronic in that park. I think I read he's about 30 metres. He's a big dragon, and every so often he lifts up his head and he looks around and he lets out a big roar and smoke. And there's also, if you look at the back of the cave, there's like eyes that flash up from certain places as well. So those are well worth a visit. I'm definitely going to go over how many I said, because I'm thinking of more things as we talk. So that's Tany Dragon. Definitely take a look. It's a lot of fun in there, and it is under the castle, which is awesome. You might need to wait for your eyes to adjust when you first go in. I am just warning you, if you go in even on a relatively cloudy day, it can be quite hard to find your way. You can use a torch on your phone, but it is quite atmospheric in there, so actually if you can avoid using that, maybe do. But if you've got someone elderly with you, for example, who needs to see where they're going, then absolutely use that torch. So that is the next on my list. Now, if you've done those things and you've come out of Tany Dragon, if you head past the back of the castle, carrying on going towards the main park, there's a shop on your left, and it looks similar to Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. However, it is actually a shop, and when you go in, if you go through the first entrance past Tany Dragon, then you will find yourself looking at the little Snow White cottage style scenario. So there are the little animals cleaning the clothes, and it's really cute, and it leads you into this little shop. So if you go round to the left, you may see the 7 dwarfs beds in there, which is really lovely, and it's part of where they display all the items. But even if you're not looking to shop, it's a nice little shop to dart into to have a look at all the decorations and look up as well. But definitely seeing those dwarf beds are really cute, and I'm sure you'll find lots of other details as well, so definitely take a look there. If you then were to come back through the castle and back over towards Hyperspace Mountain, carry on past the entrance to Hyperspace Mountain, and between where the Hyperspace Mountain ride is and on the other side there's like one of the car racing rides, there's a little bit that is easily missed. You walk past it on the way to getting the photos from Hyperspace Mountain, and I'm going to call it a submarine walk. Technically it kind of isn't a submarine because it is under the water, but basically you go down some stairs. On a hot day, it is one of the coolest places you will find. It's brilliant. It's so cold down there. It's awesome. I don't know what it's like in the winter. I don't know if it's warm, but it's definitely nice and cool in the summer. So walk down there, and then you kind of walk through some corridors which look very like, am I in the right place? Is there actually anything here? Yes, keep going, and you will find yourself inside a kind of like extraordinary League of Gentlemen style submarine place. It's quite cool. There's a few different things to see. So there's like some kind of organy musical thing. There's a portal that you can sit in front of, and it kind of opens, and then you've got like different scenes through it, and they change each time the doors open on a loop. So again, that's something a little bit more obscure. It definitely took us a few times of visiting to actually figure out that there was something there. So definitely worth a look. I'm going to add something else to the list, because if you were then to come out of there and head around towards Small World, you can go, well, you go past a load of topiary, which is really cool, including a Loch Ness monster that I always like to see. And if you carry on past there, before you kind of go left towards the Cheshire Cat maze, if you went right, you'll find yourself in kind of a more kid-friendly area of the park. I mean, the whole park's kid-friendly. Who are we kidding? It's Disney. But I mean the smaller children rides. And actually, a couple of them, there are only a couple there, they're really fun to do, and they tend to be quite short wait times as well. My favourite of the two is the little boats. So again, we didn't know this was there. It was somewhere in the park we'd not even noticed, but it is cute. And it's one of these rotating platforms. So you walk on and then you go into your boat, and it's kind of 3 or 4 people per row. So they're quite big, and there's about 4 rows of people in them. And it takes you through this lovely like storybook land, and it's all these like miniature villages scenes. So you see Tangled, you see Snow White, Peter and the Wolf. So it's not all Disney that's there. There's also the Wizard of Oz, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, the Chernobog guy, who it's like the mountain of something, I can't remember what it is called. There's a bit of a Fantasia moment. There's a Sword in the Stone, Little Mermaid, although if you see the actual Little Mermaid, if you see her, please tell me where she is, because I've been on that ride about 6 times at this point and I never see a Little Mermaid. I can see Eric, I don't believe she's there, so please tell me if you see her. I think our funniest moment on that ride was when a pigeon flew onto the Peter and the Wolf set, and it rather changed the illusion. It was like this giant Godzilla pigeon just like walking around. It was really funny. What I will say with that ride is it's a nice one. You just sit down for a few minutes. It's really, really cute. It does stop and start quite a lot, and I think that's purely because of the way you get onto the ride is a mechanical rotating platform. So for people with accessibility issues, they stop the platform in order to allow them to get on. It just means you end up stopping occasionally, but it is a nice little ride to do. And then if you come off there and you carry on towards the back of the park, the only other ride that is there is Casey Jr.'s Railway, and it's quite a tight squeeze. I'm going to be truthful about that. The first time my mum and I went on, we struggled to get both of us in. Some of the cars have overhead bits, which is why we struggled to get in, because they're built for small children. So by the time you get the thing, that the barrier that holds you in, you know, open and close, it doesn't leave much room to get in. So you might find it easier to go in one without an overhead bit. Less chance of banging your head or your knee or both, as you're prone to do. But most of the cars sit forward. If you ask to sit at the back, you can ride backwards, and it's a little train that goes around the loop of the storybook land, so you can see the boats, you can wave at the people on the boats. They quite like that too. Okay, have I missed anything in that park? I don't think so. Those were the main things I wanted to tell you about. So if we then come back out of the parks and we're heading back towards the hotel, so you go back through the Disney Village, back past the iPlace, back past the patisserie and the bistro, and let's say that you walk the route down past Marvel, after Art of Marvel Hotel. Now the Art of Marvel Hotel has apparently 350 pieces of art in there, which is really cool. So you could definitely do a bit of a wander and have a look at some of those pieces if you were feeling a little bit inspired to do so. And there is also a treasure trail that you can do in the Art of Marvel Hotel. From memory, I don't think you have to be staying there in order to do it. You could go in and ask at the concierge for a map, and it would direct you around the hotel. That's the word I'm looking for. And it takes about an hour To be honest, it didn't take us that long, but we were all adults, so you'd hope not. But if you had small children with you, it probably would take you about an hour to find everything. But it's a cute way to go around the hotel, and if you've got a spare hour, which I know is very, very unlikely in Disney, but if you do have a spare hour, you could go and do that. And last but not least, and I'm just double checking my list again. Yeah, we've talked about all of this, we've talked about that. Yeah, so really my last thing as an obscure thing that you can do in Disneyland Paris, go and see the fish. Go and see the cormorants. The whole park, well, the whole of the hotels in Disneyland Paris are set along a canal and around a lake when you get to Sequoia and Newport Bay and the Art of Marvel Hotel. And there are some big fish. Big fish. I'm talking massive. If you see a massive white, I think they're grass carp, according to a guy we met one of the trips. If you see a massive white one, I call him Pepper. It's ironic, but I call him Pepper. I say hello to him every time we see him. He tends to hang out under the bridges by Cheyenne. That's where I've seen him previously. I think there is a massive orange one in the lake more towards like the McDonald's, so that kind of part of Disney Village. They are huge and they are quite worth a watch. If you kind of peer over, you won't need to look for long because they spot your shadow and they come swimming to you. So then they suddenly start popping up. It's quite freaky. Hold on to the ears at that point. You do not want to be losing those in the water, because I can tell you, I would not want to go in the water with those fish. They look massive. They're a bit scary, but they are fun to see. And then there's always a cormorant, at least one around. There's one who has a spot in the middle of the lake. There's kind of like a buoy or something he likes to sit on. But also if you look towards the lighthouse, which is up towards the Newport Bay end, there are always cormorants who sit around the base of it as well. So just one of those small little everyday moments of magic that we call them in our family. Something unusual that you might enjoy doing. So there you go. If you have an upcoming trip to Disneyland Paris and you're thinking, what are some of the things that I might not have thought of doing, then there are a few for you. The last one that I'm going to mention is, I think it's seasonal, but the last time we went, as you go through Main Street in the main park, so the Magic Kingdom park, and turn right at the end of it, there's a little shop. It's a little pastry, well, it's not really a pastry place, it's a place that sells sandwiches. But also in Halloween, at least, it sells it sold villain pastries, which were awesome. They did also have a Christmas cake this time, which I didn't get to go and try this time because we were just too busy doing other things, but mainly character meets. But it was a lot of fun and really nice, and it's just to go up and wait. If they don't have cakes out for the season, then they just really do the kind of like Mickey pretzel sandwiches, those kind of things. So it's a bit more basic, but it is cute. It's got nice stained glass as well. So yeah, that is my list. If there's anything I've missed that you think is one of those more unusual things in Disneyland Paris that you like to do when you go, let me know in the comments. I would love to know. I love to discover that I haven't discovered everything yet when I go to the parks, even if it's, something up in Main Street or something like that. It's really fun to discover those little hidden moments at Disney and just find something a bit different. So thanks so much for joining me once again. If you like this video, please do like and subscribe if you've not already done so. Mozart's saying hello. He's giving my chair a scratch. And gonna come up and say hi. So Mozart says hi and bye. There he is. So thanks so much for joining me once again, and until next time, take care and bye for now.